Fall is a new film in theaters from the people who brought you 47 Meters Down. And now the first 47 Meters Down is a bad movie. But it's a kind of enjoyable bad movie where it... So the way I equate is this. If you're afraid of sharks, there are better shark movies to watch. But if you're afraid of being deep in the ocean with sharks, 47 Meters Down is kind of a fun movie to watch one time, kind of guilty pleasure type movie. And it can really capture that fear, especially if you're afraid of that type of stuff really well. It doesn't really do anything that special to really do that. It's not like a Jaws where even if you're not afraid of the ocean and you just want to watch a great movie, there you go, Jaws. It's also very rewatchable and a great film. No, it's not any of that. The second 47 Meters Down is complete garbage. And when I saw the trailer for this movie, I was very annoyed because the premise of this movie is really bad. And what I mean by that is this movie should be a dumb, stupid movie about two girls who are thrill seekers who decide we're going to climb a large-ass tower, and that should be the plot of this movie. Instead, it goes all these weird directions it didn't need to go, with a very unlikable side character that, honestly, you don't like watching. I wanted this girl to get shoved off of the tower and die. That's how unlikable this character is. And so basically, here's what's wrong with this movie. It's just, let's start the premise. So the plot of this movie is, you got this girl. She had a husband, and her husband and her were like, they were rock climbers. Her husband died during a rock climbing accident. And now it's been a year, she's still grieving. So her friend goes, you know what, it's been a year, it's time to move on. First of all, a year is a pretty reasonable time to still be grieving over a loss like that. It's very traumatic. In fact, it's more traumatic than most deaths. Because look at it this way. It's a death where you witnessed it, you were there. Not like, oh, they died, whatever. No, you were there, you watched it happen in a very unusual and traumatic way. So I feel like that's a pretty reasonable time to grieve. And this is a kind of a trope. I can't explain how, because I can't think of any other movies, but I swear I've seen movies where there are characters who push people who are grieving to go do something. And really, it should not be a trope in movies. Because yes, it's good to have supportive friends that push you out of your comfort zone to help you heal and get better. But these type of characters like this that push people so far, it's just, it comes across really insensitive to people who actually have dealt with things like this in real life. Okay? And again, this really would have been a simple fix. You didn't need this backstory with this character. It really could have just been these two girls go to a tower and climb it because they're thrill seekers. You didn't need this whole ass backstory and all this shit that makes this movie more complicated than it needs to be. Also, this movie is like an hour and 57 minutes. It really should have just been an hour and a half movie or even an hour 20-minute movie. It really didn't need to be as long as it was. And a lot of this movie being as long as it was because of this character's backstory that is so needless and just in poor taste to people who've actually dealt with grief and other things like this. And then there's the other part of this movie that I don't like, which is the side character. Again, not only does she shove this character to do something that she doesn't want to do because she's still suffering from trauma, but we'll get into spoilers soon, but I'm not there yet. But like, she comes across a dead body, right? Or not a dead body, but a dead animal being ripped open by a vulture, and she takes a picture of it and she goes, feeling peckish. Like, you know, that is disgusting and just unlikable to have that kind of attitude with things. And that's this character the whole movie. And another thing that's annoying about this movie is the tower, okay? This tower is out in the middle of nowhere. It's rusting, screws are loose, you know. If there was a real tower like this, they wouldn't just leave it open for anyone to climb, okay? They would actually have people be around it. And again, this could have been solved so simply. Just have it be a tower that, you know how like people go to Mount Everest, they have to pay to climb up it. Why can't that just be the plot? Why can't that just be the thing? Again, simple movie. Two girls who are thrill seekers climb a large ass tower that they pay to get on. It's not that hard. But this movie adds all these layers to it, has very unlikable characters for no reason. And now we'll get into spoilers. So they actually reveal in this movie that this girl, who's her friend, cheated on her with her husband. She got actual a tattoo of an "I love you" thing that they would say to each other, and that's just like, am I supposed to like this character? Okay, she's cheated on her friend, and then she didn't tell her about it till after he died. You know, in the context of the movie, he's dead, so she waited till they died to tell her this, and it's just like, and that character died, and it got to the point where I didn't even feel anything in the movie. Because why would I feel anything? This is a very unlikable character who deserved to die. She had a very unlikable presence within the movie. You know, it's just like, I hated this character so bad. I've never seen a character this bad in a movie like this. Because it really is no reason for it. Also, I find it weird these characters, right, have their cell phone the whole movie. This one girl's like watching videos, looking at pictures the whole time she's up on this damn tower, and you're looking at it going, what? Like, because she doesn't call for help. And I think maybe they said at one point, I can't remember if they said they didn't have Wi-Fi or whatever, but like at one point they talk about this drone that they barely use, how it ran out of battery. And I'm like, your drone ran out of battery? You barely even used it. But your cell phone didn't do it? Like, what? None of this made any sense. And I don't know. The other thing I really didn't like about this movie was, so they do a little twist on you. So this one girl falls, and you don't see the body. But then they switch you, and she actually pulls up the girl. So you think, okay, she lived. Later in the movie, they reveal that she's alive. And the girl just imagined her while she was going crazy because she was too afraid to be alone. And it doesn't even make sense because they do all these things together. Like, she helps her charge this drone thing. And I'm like, why would she imagine that? And none of it made any sense. It's just weird and bizarre. And again, none of this movie needed to be like that. Again, two girls who are thrill seekers climb a dangerous tower that they pay to get on. It is not that hard. I've never seen a movie as clunky and as stupid as this movie for something that didn't need to be like this. It could have been just a dumb movie. Like, I would have called this a good movie, just like I wouldn't call the first 47 Meters Down movie a good movie. But I would have at least watched it and been like, I can understand why someone would be into that and at least have a decent watch with it. This I can't understand. Unless you're really afraid of heights, because I do think at some points it does capture that really well. But other than that, it's just a shit movie that just, I don't know why they're doing this. I mean, I kind of like these ideas of making films about fears that a lot of people have. A lot of people have fears of being trapped down at the bottom of the ocean or being up high and stuck. You know, a lot of people have fears like this. It's just kind of interesting to make films about it for really cheap and kind of make, you know, as an audience member scared or feel claustrophobic. But they don't do a good enough job at it to where the films are even worth watching at all. I don't know. Fall was just a piece of shit.